Welcome to Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. This podcast delivers insights on what makes businesses, teams, and people successful based on real-life business experiences. Following a career with America's largest associations, JP Murray founded the Murray Company, one of Washington, D.C.'s most successful consulting firms. The company was acquired successfully and enabled him to launch JP Murray Racing, a business development and sponsorship agency for auto racing teams. Here is JP.
Hello there, it's JP. Welcome to episode 16 of the Push to Pass podcast. Fair warning, today's episode is chock full of sports analogies for you. And it's really kind of appropriate because I'm recording live within the shadows of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of my favorite places on this planet. I'll be here the month of May with Juncos Hollinger Racing of the IndyCar Series. We're racing this week on the road course, practicing and qualifications for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500, which is held Memorial Day weekend. Lots of content on my social channels with video from the Brickyard, so I hope you'll engage in those and enjoy them. But let's talk a little bit about Major League Baseball and how it lost me. Let me be clear, I love baseball. I grew up playing it. I listened to it on the radio, late nights, hearing games from halfway across the country. Brought the sporting news every week to look at the stats. Every Sunday paper that ran all the hitting and pitching statistics for every player. But strategic or just tone-deaf tactics over the years have caused me to lose interest in the game that I love. I have not watched a single inning this year. And here's why. As other sports have become more accessible, baseball has done the opposite. First, you don't play. You've got a labor strike on opening day, and that's frankly a holiday in my view. So you weren't even there. Secondly, I can't even pull up a game on the radio or TV without paying for it. All sorts of paywall barriers, apps that you got to pay for, just no access. You got to update your package to get the most current games. It's just a big pain. And this is a business dynamic where most content or much content is free. And don't get me started that the World Series rolls around and I've got to stay up past midnight, usually 1 o'clock, to compete a game. All these restrictions and barriers. It is just too difficult to enjoy this game that I love. And I have lots of options. So you lost me. And if you lost me, you probably lost other fans. But the business case is this. Make things smooth and easy for your customers. Give things away. Be accessible. The second topic we've got today is, what is your secret recipe? A friend asked me last week and we compared some notes. And these aren't really secrets. In fact, I think most people know what to do. Sometimes they just don't act and they don't do it. But everyone has a few things that work for them. And these are ingredients that have helped me. First, show up. How many people just don't post? Horse number 20 didn't post and they were a scratch for the Kentucky Derby. Rich Strike posted like in a day's notice. Historic victory, unbelievable underdog. Victory is possible just by posting. Second, I don't cold call prospects. I call if there's an indication of interest, opening an email or content or a referral. There's enough for everyone, so I'm not bitter when someone else gets the work or doesn't respond to a cold call. I've got an abundance mentality, but I just don't call willy-nilly people that have never showed interest in me. The third thing I want to talk about is follow-up. And that should be a secret part of your recipe. I can't believe people that don't follow through, but it happens all the time. And if you're not cold calling, you better be really good at follow-up and staying connected. The fourth thing, I put something good in my head every day, and it's usually early in the day before all the garbage comes. A Bible verse, a podcast that's positive, whatever works for you. So much toxic waste coming into my head. I want to put the good stuff in first. It's a simple recipe, and it works. The final thing I want to chat about today is the rear view mirror. Speaking of Indianapolis, if you go to the Speedway Museum, many of the cars that won that famous race are on display, and in some cases, there's substantial automotive innovations that happened to help that car win. Some of those things we even use today. One example of that is the Marmon Wasp. It's a famous car. It has the first ever rear view mirror. The benefit for the driver, Ray Haroon, was that he did not require a mechanic or spotter to sit in the vehicle with him to see other vehicles. As a result, the car was lighter, and when it was lighter, man, he smoked the field. So we have an opportunity to look in our rear view mirror and be better for it. While I am more of a front windshield type of person, the rear view mirror has purpose to check it. It's helpful to look back and learn and reframe what's next. Here are some things I would change if I looked in my rear view mirror. 1, much more patience during my professional career. I changed jobs literally for hundreds of dollars instead of waiting for the ball to come my way. You are on an individual timeline, not someone else's. Secondly, engage the resources of college or whatever position you are in and what you might have access to. Things like internships, student government, networks. I don't even know what I missed the 4 years because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't engage in all of those opportunities. The third thing, don't buy things you can't afford. I bought a car right out of college. Debt and restrictions, big mistake. Limited my options. All 3 of these reflections that I look back at now help change my thinking for the future. I've got much more patience. I'm much more fully engaged in the opportunities that are in front of me, and I really don't buy things to impress others where the cash just isn't there. So peek in that rear view mirror and learn from it. So my theme today for you, friends, is be accessible. Don't forget to show up and have more patience. Hey, I thank you for listening. Please share the podcast to a friend. And I can't wait to speak with you next week on the Push to Pass podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. If you would like to sponsor Push to Pass, send an email to jp@jpmurray.com. Follow JP on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. His website is jpmurray.com. Until next time, push yourself to pass the competition. Thanks for listening.